Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Not at Post. A few years back, I worked as a field supervisor for a security company. I drove patrol at night and had several accounts that I was required to check on and write a report for each night. In addition to this, I would check on standing guards at their assigned properties to make sure they were okay, not sleeping, and provide anything they might need. I was given a workload that was nearly impossible to keep up with each night and was always in a hurry. To deal with this, I would call a guard as I approached a property that was standing and have them meet me at an assigned location on the property. There was one guard who always seemed to take forever to show up for the meeting. Usually I had to wait up to 30 minutes for the guard to arrive. He always explained that he was busy when I called him. I noted this in my patrol reports to management to explain why I spent half an hour at a property I was not monitoring. I never received any feedback on this. So I began showing up at this property unannounced and would search for the guard to see what he was doing. After several times of not finding the guard on the property and always finding the property in almost chaos, I had a meeting with management to explain the situation. The manager was upset that I would even suggest that the guard was not there. I was told that if I found something that needed to be addressed when I arrived, then just take care of it myself and write a report for the property. The next night I arrived and as usual could not find the guard. I conducted a full patrol of the property, shut down the usual pool party, locked all the facilities and checked the fire lane violations. I then wrote a report explaining the problems encountered and why I was handling them. I did this every night for a week. The security company lost the account, plus 5 others that were managed by the same property management. Subsequently, I was fired for doing the job I was told to do. The next story is called Follow the Schedule. In my early 20s, I was getting a job at McDonald's flipping burgers. I've always had a high work ethic, always arrive early at work and live and die by my saying, rather 10 minutes early than 10 seconds late. The thing is, not only do I always arrive early, I struggle with staying still for too long. So what happens when I get to work? I'm not exactly making myself a cup of coffee and sit and watch. I jump in and start working. On the other hand, if it's very calm at work and circumstances allow it, I don't think it's a bad thing to clock out a few minutes early. And when the circumstances don't allow it, I also don't mind working a bit of overtime until the brunt of the workload eased up. With this being McDonald's, most of the time I clocked in early and clocked out late. The co-workers don't mind, the shift managers don't mind. The boss on the other hand, one day it has been calm for roughly 20 minutes and we've done everything one usually doesn't have time for in the kitchen. I have roughly 10 minutes left on my shift and ask my co-worker if they can hold the fort until the next guy starts and I can call it a night. He laughs it off and tells me everything is a-okay. I change clothes and get ready to clock out and see the boss coming toward me. Where are you going? Home? You still have time left on your shift. I know, I came in earlier to help. It's calm and we've done all the prep and clean we can. There's nothing left to do unless a customer walks in. Tim can handle the kitchen no problem and the next guy will be here in 10. If you are scheduled, you are supposed to do your hours. You can still clean something. After that conversation, I made sure to always clock in right on time. And then go change, wash hands, etc., which resulted in me entering the kitchen a few minutes late every day, regardless of how many customers there were. And since the boss was explicit about sticking to my hours, I always made sure to clock out right on time. Whenever the co-workers or managers asked me to stay, I told them, boss told me to stick to my schedule. Sorry guys, it's out of my hands. Best of luck though. The third story is called Not Allowed at the Party. A few years ago, I went to a very large week-long conference in Las Vegas. One of the evenings, our company was throwing a massive party for our customers. These parties were known to be epic, and everyone there to work the booth looked forward to it every year. But at the last minute, the CEO, wanting to keep costs down, decided that engineers weren't allowed at the party because of the cost, despite the fact that we had been working hard for weeks for the show. Our VP protested and was told to just take us all out for dinner on the company's dime. So our VP took us all to a very expensive restaurant on the strip and said, "Get anything you want, let's max out my company card." Everyone got Wagyu steaks, expensive wine, old bourbon scotch and all of the desserts. The bill came out to around $15,000, at least 10 times what allowing us in the party would have cost. The last story is called About 30 Minutes. I worked at a Mexican restaurant as a hostess during 2020. Since it was the middle of 2020, we were at 50% capacity, meaning that every other table in the restaurant had to be empty. On the weekends, it got really busy. We usually had like a 30-minute or more wait time for a table, especially for parties of 5+ people. Customers didn't mind waiting, and we often had a long line of people. We never had an empty table. So, on a busy Friday, the owner comes in and is shifting through papers at the hostess stand, where I am. A customer calls and asks me how long the wait will be for a group of 6. I tell them about 30 minutes. The owner hears this and gets super angry with me. He tells me I need to tell the first customers in line 5 minutes and basically add 5 minutes for every additional party that is waiting. I should never tell them 30 minutes because they won't want to wait. He tells me, if you need to, go above 50% capacity. And the owner tells me he is writing me up to the manager, who of course thought this was ridiculous. Cue malicious compliance. The owner is still here, watching me talk to customers. We get really busy and have a giant line outside the door, going down the whole block. It's groups of 6+ people, which of course are harder to seat. I tell the first party 5 minutes, the second 10 minutes, etc. It was chaos. All of the servers already had the max amount of tables they could have, 5 or 6, but I just keep sitting customers. The owner was watching me after all. Soon enough, the servers are all overwhelmed, having like 8 tables each. The kitchen is super behind, so people are complaining. I had several customers wanting to talk to the owner to complain. Finally, all the tables were filled. I keep telling customers 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I had a ton of angry customers complaining about not being 6 feet away from others. They all said they were going to report the restaurant. Then the owner wanted to go against the virus protocol and let people inside without masks and got angry with me for sitting a party outside. I then quit on the spot and said I'm going home. They didn't have a hostess for the rest of the night or for the weekend. I'm not sure what happened after that. Chaos, I'm sure. The last time I checked, they have 2.5 stars on Yelp, and I like to read the bad reviews from time to time to entertain myself. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and want to support me, please subscribe and hit the like button. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.